Good day, internet people, folk of YouTube. Today, me and Bong are going to converse thus about Paladins, which is quite mad. No, it's quite normal actually. It's a new shooter. Would you say?
No, I would say it's a shooter with mild RPG leanings.
So yeah, it's like a sort of fast-paced shooter in the vein of something like Team Fortress or more recently Overwatch.
Yeah.
Lots of different characters, lots of different ways of playing, and yeah, it was quite
Quite
fun. It's
objective based.
objectives.
Yeah, it's objective based. You know, you capture points and pushing carts and stuff like that.
Push little card.
Yeah,
exactly. And then, like Bong said, there is an RPG element to it in that you get decks of cards. Well, I don't know if they're called cards, but they're like abilities, and you can customize your abilities for each character. And also, you've got sort of a common pool of abilities you can, like passives, I guess, that you can take into battle with you as well. So there's there is an outside sort of element of customization for each character. So if you get a character you really like, you can sort of build build them in different ways.
Yeah. So when you level up as well,
as you
level up, you can stack each card. You can level each card using your leveling points or whatever. So you go, oh, I really like this card. I'm going to put 5 points into that. And
so as you rank up in a game, you'll get points to spend on your cards in your deck. There is an auto level system, which I think is default on, which we used for a while. It's actually quite useful because you don't need to worry about it then. But then as you get more into the game, you can
turn that off and take the reins yourself.
Oh yeah, that's in a big giant nutshell. That's sort of the game. There are quite a lot of these games coming out recently, so this is sort of more on the end of the shooter spectrum than it's not really like a MOBA at all. In fact, it doesn't really have any.
It's very fast paced. It's definitely you know it's the other side of the spectrum of something like Paragon.
Closer to Overwatch than something like Paragon or Battleborn. You know, there's quite a few of these coming out. But aesthetically, let's talk about aesthetics. Bob.
Cartoons,
what
easy to see characters. It's kind of like they're not low poly as such, but they're lower poly than something like Gears of War. Or,
very low.
Yeah.
It's
simplistic. I think's the word. Yeah.
Yeah, it's meant to be that those sort of matte colours as well. It's meant to be that way, so presumably so it can run on lots of systems, and it looks good. I like it. I like the style of it. It's not overly. What I like about it particularly is it's not overly cluttered with over the top effects and stuff.
Yeah, I do think that some of the environments could be plushed up a little bit. They're a little bit basic.
The environments do look a bit basic. A lot of time it's just sort of a flat field. A lot of the areas, which again, this is beta, so you can like.
Yeah, maybe that's going to change, but
yeah. And it's I like that you can see with the particle effects. See, each character's got sort of unique set of moves, and you can kind of see each move. Easily.
You know what they're doing. Yeah.
So it's quite good, really. So talking about the characters, what of the characters?
They're relatively unique. I don't think there's any that I'd mistaken for another one. Like I definitely know. No. Oh, the guy with the big shield. That's Fernando. And then the big tree is the only big tree in the game. So
yeah. Well, I agree. I do think there's not that many in the game currently. I can't remember exactly how many, but there's 15 or 16, something like that. And
there's 12 actually.
Oh well, that's lower. Well, there you go. There's not very many at all.
Yeah.
But they do kind of fall into these fantasy archetypes. Like there's an elven archer, there's a dwarf with a shotgun and a turret, and there seems to be a lot of inspiration drawn from other fantasy games and even games, older games of the same sort of similar sort of genre.
The archetypes are there though: tanks, damage dealer, healer. You've got your three core
big tank
kind of.
Guy.
Not really much, like I said as we were playing, there wasn't many like hard stuns or enfeebles. There is a couple of slows and stuff, but they don't really affect you.
Yeah, because there is kind of these elements. Like each character obviously has a set of abilities and an ult which charges. It's similar to how Overwatch works as well, with the sort of charging percent ult in the middle. So you've got ability. All the characters have got a unique set of abilities. Some are geared towards just tanks. Some are geared towards just sheer damage. Well, most of them are damage, and some are more defensive.
Some have like self heals and stuff. Some have group heals.
Yeah, there's only one like main healer I could see, which is that weird shaman. But he's got like sort of AOE. Although the raccoon, there's a guy called Pip with a grenade launcher. He's quite fun. I mean, yeah, the characters, I like the way they look. They seem quite good. There's not much personality to them, I could see. Like there's the occasional thing where they'll say something in game, but similar games have this thing where they're like quipping against each other and stuff, and I think that kind of stuff would do well in here. Again, might be because it's beta. So the modes, what are the modes of the game you can play so far?
Well, there's kind of like a push little cart mode, which is very much TF2 Overwatch. Literally, Payload is called.
You just push a car, or what? It's a cart of treasures through checkpoints, and each checkpoint you get more time, and the enemy team have got to stop you. You've got to stand next to the cart to push it, and the enemy team can stand next to it to push it back slowly. It's a mode that's been in these ones for a while now, these type of games for a while now, and you know, it works. So there you go. I suppose that's all you can say about it, isn't it? It's fun enough. And then you've got Capture and Siege, which is kind of a unique mode to Paladins. But what the bloody hell is it, Bob?
Well, essentially, you capture a point which spawns a kind of... Well, it's not a trebuchet, but it's essentially a trebuchet. It's
a cannon.
A cannon on wheels. Yeah. And then you escort that to the enemy's gates, which are like towers in a MOBA. You smash down their gates, and their final gate is their core or their throne. Some
of the maps maybe need a little bit of work on this one because it's quite a bit basic, I would say, for the maps that we've played.
I think if they touch them up with a few shrubs and things, then it look quite nice.
So a few unique aspects to this game. I mean, what makes it different? Why would I want to play it? Well, one of the unique aspects of this is this card system we mentioned earlier. You know, where you build decks of sort of abilities or and buffs for your guy, which you can then level up in game as you play. Yeah. So I mean, I suppose, you know, other games have got a similar system to it, like out of game customization, but this one's a bit different in that you've got like a sort of set amount you can choose and switch out. You can make like multiple decks, and then at the start of a game you can go, well, I want to use that deck today. That's my tank deck. And
I like that there's kind of like there's two different deck systems. There's a common and then your character deck.
Unique one. Champion deck they call them. They call them champions in this game. Okay. So yeah, you can. There's quite a lot of scope for customizing your character in however way you want to play them.
You could pick up loads of cards across common and your champions cards that all stack health as much as possible, or damage,
or recovery.
So you can really kind of like smash one way. But that does unfortunately lead to some kind of some decks that I think maybe need a little bit harsher,
there's a limited
balancing.
There's not that many cards in total right now. So sometimes you'll see lots of what we've played anyway. We have already come across a few decks and builds that I think are a little bit overpowered. But you know, obviously with more and more
there is a patch around the corner though, literally 2 or 3 days away.
So that hopefully they'll sort that. There's also another unique aspect. There's this teleporter, which spawns at your base, which you can actually pick up and take out into the field of battle, place down, and it means that you can reinforce objectives faster.
Yeah,
the
I
enemy
really
can
like
destroy
that.
it. Yeah, it's cool. I really
and
like it.
There's also like the little reeds. There's little kind of corners with like bushels in it, and you can hide in it, like in League of Legends or stuff like that. Yeah. Which is nice because you can hide the teleporter in there, and then people are like, "Oh, where's the teleporter?" And a couple of times I stumbled upon an enemy teleporter, which then turned the tide because they weren't being reinforced.
It's quite important to find that because it just means that if you've got quick reinforcement and they haven't when you die, it means that you're going to win that objective point.
Similar sometimes to Sinestra in Overwatch to pull a parallel there.
Yeah, the portalery. So that's basically all the elements of the game. So of our impressions, we've got some positives and negatives. So the first positive one, what would you say?
Well, I think the first positive about it is that its shooting mechanics are pretty solid. It's very easy to pick up. There's no mouse lag or anything like that. So yeah, it works pretty good. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. A negative I'll give now. I think there is a limited character pool and cards for your customization currently, which means these overpowered builds were quite commonplace. Obviously that's due to it being beta. Hopefully it will be more, but that's one negative. Another positive one.
It's fun. It's fun to play and it's fast. The rounds are fast paced. It's kind of quick games. Can be quick games. Some of them go on a little bit longer, but generally quick games.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll give another negative. I hate to be the negative Nelly. Yeah, we mentioned this earlier. The maps and environments do seem quite low detail. I think that is trying to be in keeping with their sort of theme and their sort of clear-cut theme behind it. But I do think a little bit more detail would go in this, just to bring you into the world of Paladins a bit more.
I'll counter that with the positive on that the graphics are clear-cut and that you can see what you're doing. So it's kind of a difficult middle ground to find.
Balance to be
but yeah, I agree that they could add a little bit more detail to the environments, definitely.
Yes, I agree. Something which detracts a little bit, I think, is that there's no traditional arena shooter modes currently available. Something like Team Deathmatch or Capture Points mode or Capture the Flag. These kind of staple modes would suit this game really well, and it's such an easy, people like these modes, and
I think adding them in and just kind of rehashing a little bit some of the maps they've got and just changing those up a little bit would definitely kind of make that quite nice.
Yeah, another positive one.
Well, it runs very well. The graphics are they're not incredibly low, but they're good, and it runs very well. On I would say it's been designed for quite a lot of systems, low, medium, and high.
Good. And then the final thing, which we mentioned earlier as well, which there is a limited pool of maps in the beta currently. I think there's only like four.
I think we played in about 3 hours, 4 hours.
Obviously, yeah, this is beta, so there's obviously going to be more maps.
Yeah.
But that's just all I'd say. You know, having played the beta for a few hours now, you know, it does get quite repetitive. Although because the gameplay, you know, the arena shootery type gameplay is quite unique. You know, it's still and they're fast as well. Each game is fast, so it doesn't feel like you're playing the same map for over and over again. So it doesn't become that much of an issue. But obviously, more maps is always better. Right. So yeah, that's Paladins. So what's happening this month, Bong?
Well, this month we're going to take part in a tournament, and
yes.
It's a tournament between other streamers and YouTubers, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how exactly the tournament's going to work, but it's going to be.
We've not had all the details, but at least one of us will be taking part.
Yeah, and it'll be, you know, it's a 5v5 type thing, and we'll be. So this month we're going to be training ourselves in the way of Paladins on our Twitch channel. So if you and we want to train with you guys as well, we've got founders packs to give away, which we'll probably be giving away over on our Twitch channel. So if you haven't already followed, then please go over there right now.
On screen, that link there. Click it. Go to the page. Click follow.
Go to the page, follow, and we'll be playing Paladins. So if you want to come play with us, or you want to get a pack to come play with us, or have a chance, then do so there. So that's Paladins. I hope you enjoyed that overview. Again, it's not a game that I've heard that much about. So
no, I was taken quite surprised by it.
To shine the spotlight onto these games a bit more. So until the next one.
Good noon.